Aloha everyone, and welcome again to the Adventure Room. It's Master Sergeant P, and as some of you may know, I have been getting ready, training for my third ultra marathon in the last 12 months. This one is going to be special. This one is going to be the longest one yet. We're talking 40 miles in northern Minnesota in the middle of January. So when I say cold, it is going to be really cold. The gear that I'm going to take with me is going to play a huge role on deciding how well I finish, or even if I finish at all. So I want to take the opportunity to show everybody the gear that I'm taking with me, talk a little bit about why I decided to take that gear, and to show everybody the method that I'll be using to haul that gear for 40 miles through the snow. Before I get into it though, a huge shout out. Thank you so much to Ralph from Weatherwool for everything that you're doing to help out the military and our veteran community. As some of you may notice, I am rocking out a full weight anorak wool jacket. I will be doing a separate review later on another video regarding this jacket, but I expect great things from it. So stay tuned. I'm really excited to show you this one. One of the first things you'll notice immediately are these nice little eyelets that kind of circle around the entire length, the outside length of the sled. Now, this is important because they act as points for me to pull on, and I'll show you how that works later, but they also serve as anchor points for my gear. The best way to take a look at all the modifications that were made to the sled is to go ahead and invert it. And you'll see here that we have high visibility reflective 550 cord that runs throughout the length of the entire sled. This is actually what holds those eyelets in place and distributes the load or the force of pulling the load evenly throughout the sled. As I look down towards the back end of the sled, you'll see the factory molded runners, but what I wound up doing to help me traverse over the hills and making sure that I wasn't getting overtaken by my sled as gravity winds up trying to pull it down at a side angle, was I installed these aluminum 90-degree aluminum bars, if you will, or right angled aluminum bars. Cut them at a little bit of a slope here, so that way they cut into the snow and ice at a gradual angle, and they really help in traversing uneven conditions. The things that were also added: reflective tape. I probably should have added that to the rear, and you'll see I have Velcro strips. Now these Velcro strips come in handy because I have to have reflective light. My bike are the only safety pieces of equipment that is going to wind up preventing me from getting ran over by a high-speed snowmobile. My sleeping bag of choice is the U.S. Army modular sleep system. For one, it's the only bag I have that's rated to 20 below, and two, it has a bivy sack, which is a requirement for the race. You'll also see I have a sleep pad. This is my Climate Crush Static Insulated V. R value 4.4. Can't go wrong. I can sleep on the snow. All ultramarathons have a prescribed mandatory list, and the St. Croix Ultra 40 is no different. All racers must have the capacity to carry at least 75 ounces of water at any time on the course. Now, I have some squeeze bottles here. I really wanted my Camelback to work. Unfortunately, it just could not. Yes, it carries over 100 ounces, which is ideal for a situation like this, but more importantly, the actual carrier itself hitches up to my sled very nicely. Sticking with water, we have to have a means to boil water. That's one of our challenges on the course. This is an Esvid stove. It is super lightweight, it is super simple, no parts to break, which is why I decided to bring it with me. It's got a lid, a pot, and a burner unit, and it runs off of these solid fuel tabs. The only thing you need to do, pop it in place, light it on fire, put your water on the blaze, and wait 20 minutes for it to boil. Yes, it's slow. No, it's not sexy, but it will not break. It will burn in extreme cold, and it is super light. In this case, I need to also bring 8 fuel tabs in reserve and show them at the end of the finish to say, here is my mandatory finishing requirement. I think they make us bring this much in the event I need to maybe melt snow and get a warming liquid to stave off any hypothermia. I think it's just a safety measure. Reflective material is a big deal. I don't know if you can see this, but I had stitched on some 3M reflective material to the front and back of my sled's harness. Collectively, it makes about 20 ounces of reflective material, which meets the minimum for me to enter onto the course. Sticking with the theme of not getting run over by being seen, I have 3 bike lights that are flashing red LEDs. I need to have 2 of these on my rear so I don't get run over from the back, and 1 of them on my front so I don't get run over from the headlight and my tail light run on batteries. And in the event that I wind up running out of batteries, I need to have enough batteries at the end of the finish line to show that they can burn for an additional 20 hours. With that being said, I have a few of these battery cells, the CR2032s. They weigh next to nothing. They're lithium. They last quite a bit. And that's the reason why I chose not just the batteries itself, but also the red bike lights, because they're light and they'll burn for a while. I also have some AAA batteries for my headlamps. And last but not least, every racer is expected to have a calorie reserve of 3,000 calories. I have 12 Cliff Bars here, and there was a long mathematical process on why I chose Cliff Bars. I will show you now. I also need to end the race with exactly 3,000 calories of food ready to eat in surplus. And what I came up with was a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. The Reese's Peanut Butter Cup comes in at about 220 calories per serving, and that's 1.5 ounces, just over 5 calories per gram. I have a Cliff Bar here, and the chocolate chip Cliff Bar comes in at 250 calories per bar, and each bar weighs about 68 grams. I need to figure out how many grams are in an ounce. So 1 ounce is about 28.3 grams. Let's do some math.
At 250 calories per bar, I will need 12 bars to equal 3,000 calories. And if 1 bar is 68 grams, how much is that per ounce?
Comes out to 1.8 ounces per bar, as opposed to the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup that comes in at 1.5 ounces. 21.6 ounces, or roughly 1.35 pounds. Next question, Sam's Club Nut Bar. That comes in at 190 calories per bar. and each bar weighs 40 grams. I would need 16 bars, which is 22.5 ounces. Let's divide that by 16, and that comes out to 1.41 pounds. The Reese's Peanut Butter Cup is the better choice here. It comes in at 1.31 pounds for all the calories that I need in my reserve stash. But I think I'm just gonna rock the Cliff Bars because that 0.04 pounds for extra food doesn't seem like too much. Maybe over 40 miles it might be, but I can still respect myself and keep them around longer, look forward to eating them. Although not mandatory, it is highly recommended that all racers to the St. Croix 40 bring with them some kind of change of clothes and an insulation layer that keeps them warm in the event that they stop moving and need to preserve whatever heat that they have for any reason. In order for me to shave weight, I had to think about a methodical approach here. I wasn't too necessarily worried about my outside layers. I'm talking about my windbreaker and my nylon pants. Those dry off fairly quick, so I didn't worry too much. What I was worried about was the layers that were the closest to my skin. I tend to sweat quite a bit when I'm under physical exertion, and if that sweat builds up and gets a chance to freeze next to my body, I'm in for a world of hurt. So I decided to take the layered approach and employ my training from the military to help me prevent that. In the Army, we have what's called EQUIX, the Extended Cold Weather Clothing System. And our first layer of EQUIX are these silk weights. They're designed to be a base layer that pulls the moisture away from your body to your outside clothes to either evaporate or just dry through the wind. So I brought extra level 1 silk weights. I'm bringing level 2 waffle weights. These kind of serve as a warm sweatshirt, if you will, but not provide a whole lot of insulation. To help address a lack of insulation for my level 2s, I have my EQUIX level 7, aka the marshmallows. This thing is hot, and I'm talking hot. I've only had it on for like 20 seconds now. I'm starting to sweat. It'll keep me warm if I'm not doing anything at all in like -5 degrees or something like that. The payoff is it is heavy, very heavy. So I'm taking both sets. Hopefully I don't have to use it. Maybe I'll reassess next year if I do it again to see if I want to bring something lighter and kind of stray away from that heavy military gear. That pretty much wraps it up for all the equipment that is coming with me for the St. Croix Ultra 40. If you got any questions, you got any comments, anything you want to know about any of these pieces of equipment, hit me up. Let me know in the comment section. I'll be doing the St. Croix Ultra 40 coming soon, So I'll have some more reviews later on, and maybe I can answer any questions that you might have at that time. Thank you so much for tuning in. I encourage you to stay tuned. We're doing our best to evolve the channel. We'll be putting out more content, more adventures, more fun, so stay tuned. Thank you once again, and I'll leave you with a segment of how I was training for the St. Croix Ultra 40. This is SRP saying aloha. So we are officially covered in snow. Had a little bit of a drought for a while. And with that being said, I can actually start training now for my winter ultra. I got my pack and my sled and my harness and all my gear. We'll see how it goes. I haven't been able to really train coming off of this 50K back in October. Kind of messed myself up pretty good. Some would even wonder if it's sensible for me to do another ultra marathon, especially since it was so soon from my last time. This will be the third ultra marathon this year. Prior to that, I didn't even do a single freaking marathon. Ultra crazy. All right, we'll check in later. Just hit 1 mile. 20 minutes, 55 seconds. I'm sweating. It's not good. I suppose I could stop and shed my shell. Need to do something. My ears are starting to freeze. So I'm approaching mile 10 and coming up on 3.5 hours. I am closer to my goal time than I am to course minimums. But you can see that I got rid of my sled. I dropped it about a half mile ago back to the truck. I'm only now coming to the realization this is going to be harder than a romantic walk through the woods. Now the struggle here is I need to keep moving. So I got to eat, so I got that energy to move.